Hello and welcome to the Gallant Few Rangers podcast. My name's Colin and I'll be your host as always. This week we're back with another episode of 10 Questions, where we get a different guest on every week to answer their set 10 questions on their time following Rangers. This week I'm delighted to introduce our guest. He's a good Rangers fan, one of our own, James Murray. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, Colin? Good to hear from you, mate.
Good having you on, mate. Good having you on. How you feeling for your podcast debut?
Oh, I love it. I'm not nervous in it, and I don't worry. It's not an interview or anything like that, so I'm all right.
Oh, did no tell you you're getting a job after this if you pass? No.
Well, if it's well paid, then I'm up for that.
Happy days. If you want a job in the Gallant Few, you can get well paid in YouTube abuse. That's about the only benefit we get.
Don't doubt that, mate.
But no, cheers for coming on, Jamesy. So before we get into the questions, mate, do you want to tell the listeners a bit about yourself and how you came about following the mighty Rangers?
Aye. It's that's such a random one how I became a Rangers fan. I used to live in when I was at school, in primary school, I lived in Erskine. So I ended up moving to but then I moved to Bishopton. And then I moved school to Bishopton Primary. Mm-hmm. And at this time I wasn't interested in football at all. And then there was a guy that lived just across the street. He came over to introduce himself to me, the same age as me. It was in my year at school. And he says to me, "Do you follow football?" And I says, No, I don't know anything about it. And he says, "Oh, you should follow football, you should support Rangers." And I was like, so, it's like, you want to make new friends. So ever since that day, I became a Rangers man. That's how I became a Rangers supporter.
I hope you're still pals with that guy, because you've got a lot to thank him for.
Oh no, I'm still pals with him. He lives over in China now. But he's a golf coach. And then he stopped supporting Rangers and started supporting Morton. And I'm like, right, okay, fair enough.
Bizarre, but no,
so I've got a lot to thank him for.
He's done you a turn there, mate, big time. So that's one of the more unique stories we've had there following Rangers, but
I know.
Needless to say, fell in love ever since then, mate. Aye.
I was, well, most of the time, frustrating sometimes, but some of the days that it's gave you, nobody can take that away from you, can.
It's like any good relationship. Sometimes you do wonder, why am I still doing this? But you just can't take yourself away, can you? I
know. I think the only time I've stopped watching a Rangers game was a game against Celtic recently. I just stopped watching after 2-0. But that's the last I'll mention it.
Aye, I know. This is mainly a positive podcast with these questions. Getting into the questions themselves, mate. So we'll run through them one by one. But obviously, following Rangers for 20, 30 years, how hard was it to narrow it down to one answer for most of them?
Good question, actually. I think, based on what the questions are, I actually think it was relatively easy. There was only two that I found difficult to answer, and they're possibly the controversial ones. Because one of them, the Sasa Papac award, I don't know if this person was an unsung hero or not. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. But this person was also my favourite Rangers player. So,
right. Well, that's we'll come to it as we go through the questions. But what I really love about these getting different people on, Jamesy, is their interpretation of the question, and it's how they take and how they view the question as well. And that's how you get so many different answers and so many different points of view. So, no, I'm all for hearing it. So, on that one, the first one is absolutely open to interpretation. Your favourite Rangers goal. So some people take this to be the best goal they've seen in terms of quality, the most important goal they've seen, or just the one that everything clicked and they celebrated the most. It might have been there or whatever. But what's your favourite Rangers goal?
Favourite Rangers goal has got to be, I think it's based what's the Jelavic goal in the League Cup final when we beat Celtic 2-1.
Aye, I remember it well.
I think it was because we were expecting it. We've been into that. I think we just got beat by them just before, a couple of weeks before that.
We go through the Scottish Cup. We did.
And then I think we had a few players that injured as well. And then when it got to extra time, I started thinking, you know what, nah, this isn't going to happen. I was in the Loudon with all my mates as well for it. So, I mean, in the fact that it looks like it bounces back into the net as well, it's one of the best parts of it. We thought it had gone wide. So I'd probably say it was that one, but it's not an easy one to pick. But I'd say that one stands out the most.
What was it about that one, mate? Probably a few things gone through in my head because we knew that was going to be Walter Smith's last time at Hampden. Obviously, beating Celtic at any point as well, but in a cup final was a bit more special. What is it about that goal that stuck out for you?
I think it was based on the fact that we were all. I was with all my mates. Celtic been creating lots of chances, and because I'm not always confident when we go into an Old Firm game, but that one I was totally convinced we're going to lose the game, and the chances Celtic missed in that match as well. So it was just. I think it was based a lot about the day and the fact that I didn't think we're going to win.
Mm-hmm. Aye. It gives you that sense of underdog or sense of overachievement. It just makes it all the more special, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant day, and it wasn't even the best of goals. It was just a scrappy goal. The fact that it just bobbles into the net, but no, a great day out.
I know the fact that it, as you mentioned, hits the left post, bounces out towards the goal, and then rolls back in off the other post. It was bizarre. I always remember the wee chant. I was at the game on my way back to the Viceroy, and the street switch was screaming the ball was a proddy. I quite enjoyed that. That gave me a wee chuckle. No, but after a solid start in your 10 questions, mate, a goal to beat Celtic in the League Cup final, it can't get much.
It's a good start.
Aye, dynamite start. So, on to question number 2, man. Where's the strangest place you've watched the Rangers game?
That's got to be a pub in Australia. I was over travelling Australia at the time. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a minute, actually. I was supposed to go over in Australia for a year travelling. I can't remember the fact. I think the game ended up finishing 0-0. I'd been trying to find lots of pubs in Sydney to watch it, but they don't allow mixed supporters over there. So I had to, and you've got a lot of Irish people that are travelling, so I'm struggling to find somebody to watch it. And then eventually I found this pub down a wee alleyway, and it had Rangers supporters in it. But I'd say that's definitely the strangest place I've watched. Watched the Rangers game, but I was supposed to go for a year. We ended up winning the league that year, 3-0 away to Dundee United.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
And because we hadn't won the league for 3 years, I just cut my visa short and went home so I could watch us win the league.
That is fucking commitment, mate. Fair play to you there.
Well, see, the thing is, based on the time of day it is, obviously, if it's an early kick-off here, it's like, I think it was like 2 a.m. over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we beat Celtic 1-0 that season. Stephen Davis has scored. Maybe like a few games left. I spent the full night sitting up on the phone to my wee brother, him videoing the game for me. And then I'm working 2 hours later because I'm getting up at 6 a.m. to go and work over there. So at that time I was like, right, we're in with a chance of winning this league here. I'm going home. So straight on Emirates flight back home.
Was it worth it? Cutting your holiday short?
Oh, it was worth it, mate. Let me assure you that. It was definitely worth it.
Amazing. You're 2 for 2, mate, in terms of strong answers. A League Cup final goal and travelling for the other side of the world to come see your team win the league, mate. We're starting to paint a very, very strong picture of how dedicated you are.
Yeah, happy days, mate.
Right, mate. So, kind of along the same token, mate. So, I don't know how often you do get to games, but what's your been your best away day or best away trip following Rangers?
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking, do you know what? I had actually put down Seville because I went to Seville because it's just a day and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually going to change my answer. To
mid-pod.
Yeah, mid-pod, aye. Because we beat Celtic 3-1 at 3-1 at Parkhead. They took the lead just for half time, and then I think Leuven scored an OG, then Kenny Miller scored 2.
Aye.
It was the one where Willie Colin was looking the other way and gave us a penalty.
Aye, I remember that one.
Oh, what a day that was! Like we'd been out to a mate's house up in Glasgow. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was one of my mates who told me about it because his brother was mates with this guy, and so I hadn't even met him. So when I got there, I expected just us. You've got about 10 people in this guy's flat. I think it's one of these, this big posh place in Glasgow. And you get 10 people in there. I'm like, it's 7:15 in the morning. Obviously, I'm far too old for that kind of thing now, right? Because this is obviously a good time ago. But no, do you know what? I'd probably say that one because we ended up walking in straight into Glasgow after it. And then it turned into a full day sesh. But yeah, I've changed my answer mid-pod.
God, woofed. I love that. Just going with your gut. That has to be commended. So on that game, mate, probably asking you about that game and the current affairs at the same time. That was back when we had the 7,500 allocation. So that must have been carnage on the day. That must have been amazing to be involved in, especially winning the park here and amongst that. What was that like, and what's your thoughts on how we've changed the allocation now?
Well, I think, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind if it went back to the allocation it was, but you can't have a full stand behind the goal of Celtic fans. It's basically like a home game in the second half for them.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Put it this way, if any Celtic player would rather score in front of that stand than what they probably would in a home game against Rangers, I don't think there should be a full stand of Celtic supporters for them shooting down that end in what is always the second half. But on the other hand, if they gave us, the fans, right behind the goal and not just away over in the corner, then I'd be fine with that. But I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. I know it's one of the ones you can't have your cake and eat it, isn't it? It's I get it's brilliant going to Parkhead, especially when you win and having a big allocation there, but it means that you have the 7,500 in the Broom one for Ibrox, and that's not only as for the Celtic fans, it's stopping Rangers season ticket holders potentially getting in that game as well. So there's a catch-22, isn't it?
Aye, absolutely.
But on that day, so what was the atmosphere like that day?
Oh no, it was unbelievable. It's like it dominated the whole first half. The thing is, we were terrible in the first half, and then you know what it's like. They've scored just before half time, and I was actually, I probably shouldn't say it, but I thought it was going to be the vintage second half terrible performance, so going to win easily. But we just second half, I don't even think they had a chance. It was all us, and what? Don't get me wrong, it did make it better that there were 7,000 Rangers fans there. Even though I'm criticising the fact that they should have get it back, but it definitely made it better. It was just, I think I lost my voice that day. Actually, in fact, I ended up with food poisoning as well. I bought a hot dog there at half time, ended up with food poisoning.
It doesn't surprise me that, Midden, I'll be honest, mate.
I know.
Hell, Menji for trusting the forces of evil with your lunch. That's but no, it's a Midden. We know that, don't we? So that must now extend to the food chaos. So I'm not surprised at that at all.
Yeah, well, I know I'm not surprised either.
And the next question, mate. So on the subject of being at games, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen at a Rangers game, Jamesy?
Oh, this is one of those that I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I listened to podcasts. I think quite a few people have struggled to this one, but I'd have to say it was my brother and nephew managed to get tickets for Rangers away to St Johnstone, like at the last minute. It was a few seasons back, and then me and my dad sitting down and watching it in Sky, and then straight the first time you see the camera. Just it's they two that appear right in front of the camera, and me and my dad just looked at each other as if to did that just happen? It was just they two right in front of it, and you just see them standing up cheering. That was before the game started, mind you. But
Aye.
So no, I'd definitely say that one. But I'd say that was one of the hardest ones.
Aye. Your brother and nephew, did they wear that as a badge of honour, a claim to fame that they'd been on the telly at a Rangers game?
Trust me, it was straight on my brother's Facebook literally 2 seconds later. I don't even think the game had started and he did want to put it on Facebook.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, it's always kind of why I be caught on telly, but at the same time, like I don't want. It kind of gives me the fear, if I'm sitting doing something stupid, if I'm sitting tanning a pie and go to the gravy run and do my chin or something, it gives me the fear, the thought of that. And I become a meme, you know what I mean? With these podcasts, there's all the wee video clips here and there that take the piss right out of me with my mannerisms. So, on Sky Sports, tanning a pie, it might be. We'll wait and see. No, that's good, man. That's good. You ever been caught on the telly at a game?
Good question, actually.
Not that you know of, because you've not been sent the photo of it.
No, I don't know if I don't think I have.
There you go, mate. Plenty of time yet. So, probably going to start going into some of the more controversial questions, Jamesy. The first one, next couple are on Rangers players in particular. So, who's the Rangers player that you didn't rate, but everybody else seemed to love?
I'm not sure if people loved it, if people loved him, but I felt he underachieved in performances at Rangers, and I'd say Pedro Mendes.
Oh, that is a controversial one, eh?
It is. He scored a brilliant goal at Celtic. He scored a few brilliant goals, but I think he was so much better than what he did at Rangers. People remember. I feel like people just remember him for the Celtic goal, the goal away to Dundee, and the goal away to Dundee United. It's 2 important goals, but I just felt a lot of the time he didn't. Half the time he was just playing it easy, just easy pass. When he was capable of so much more. I thought I thought he was like a 10 goals every season kind of player, especially playing Scottish football compared to England. But I do think it is a controversial one.
No, but as much as I did love Pedro Mendes, I can kind of see some of the point you're making. Like, it's still controversial, but and I don't want to make excuses for him, but you could tell he's one of the players who, when the quality of opposition lowered, he struggled to adapt to that at times. So I think I get about maybe games against the likes of St Mirren or St Johnstone or whatever at home, like that kind of bottom tier level, where we're dominating the ball and we need a bit more aggressive, forward thinking attack. That wasn't quite his game, but where he did plough his trade was in the the big games. He was a big game player, wasn't he?
Oh no, he was, especially that's the thing. I think that's why he got away with the fact that he wasn't consistent, because of the fact that he was a big game player.
Aye, so I can't wait till this goes out and see the comments and Pedro Mendes might know on your naughty list, but no, fair enough, mate. I can kind of see why you've brought that in.
I'm not saying it was bad for us, but it could do better.
No, the Daily Record the day after this headline goes out will be James Murray says Pedro Mendes is pish. You'll be getting letters to your work and everything, mate. That's the headline.
No, Jim, wouldn't surprise me actually.
So, on the other side of that coin, mate, the next question is the Sasa Papach Award. So this is obviously named after the ultimate 7 out of 10 unsung hero at the time, Sasa Papach. So without picking the man himself, who was your Rangers unsung hero?
Well, do you know what? I might actually be changing my answer midway through again.
The uncertainty here is rife for your answers, Jim.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to change it, because I still do think that this guy is a bit of a hero. Like, I had put Nacho Novo, but I think he's known more as a hero off the pitch because his antics with his dislike for Celtic.
Aye.
But he's my favourite ever Rangers player. because he scored so many important goals. But I don't think people talk about how good he was for Rangers. But I'm actually going to change it, and it's based on the fact that the big games that he played in, how well he done. And I'm actually going to say Neil Alexander. It's partly because he's saving for getting us to the Europa League final. He played in the cup final against that League Cup final, did he, against Celtic as well?
He did.
Aye, we won that as well. He made an amazing save right at the end as well, I think. So do you know? So I do think Nacho Novo is a bit of a hero on the park as well, a wee bit. So do you know what? I'm going to go with Neil Alexander.
No, what, mate? I can fully get behind you picking Neil Alexander. I didn't pick him in the end, but when I recorded mine, he was in contention for me. His only issue was he had an elite European goalie in front of him. Exactly. Neil Alexander could have walked into any team in Scotland and most teams in the English Premiership, maybe in the bottom half of it at least. But the issue was that Alan McGregor was just that tier above. Rangers were absolutely spoilt during this period, having both of them. And you're right, I think time has got to be really harsh on Neil Alexander because he didn't grab too many headlines, but when he came in, he was more than competent as a number one, but it's just because McGregor was better.
I know, that's the thing. No, he is. And don't get me wrong, McGregor made that amazing save away to Werder Bremen. But everybody talks obviously about that save, which is understandable. the penalty save Alexander made, and his performance in that game as well was outstanding. Albeit Vieri missed about 6 sitters and then skied his penalty. I think that's still the ball still to land for that penalty, actually.
I know, and what another thing doesn't get spoken enough about, and I don't know, at the time of recording, it's October 2022, and Lee Wallace just retired, but I don't think we really speak about. I think we speak about Lee McCulloch and Lee Wallace, about how they stayed with Rangers and became part of that journey. Nobody really speaks about Neil Alexander staying for that first season either. And again, this is a guy who was more than capable of being Rangers number one in the top flight. He could have went to any other club in Scotland or most likely English Championship at that point, but he stayed. He was gutted when we didn't keep him on, and that's a different conversation for another day. But I think he has to be commended for that. No,
absolutely, and like I think basically you're spot on what you said. I think it's just that he doesn't get the praise that he got because of the fact that McGregor was so good.
Aye. No, solid choice there, mate. I can get fully behind that. On to the next one, mate. Again, when we speak about open to interpretation, this is just how you take the question, whether it's something that happened or something that we didn't do or something that you missed or whatever. What's your biggest Rangers regret?
That we never won the Europa League final just there.
Aye.
I went to the stadium that Celtic had played Porto. I went there and see the way everything was happening. We obviously Walter, Smith, Jimmy Bell. It felt like the way we got to the final, and then the way we taking the lead, the goal as well. One of their players slipping. I turned right to my mate after obviously going absolutely nuts celebrating. I turned right to my mate and I says, "This is your time. This is your time." And then, but aye, it's definitely that. It's definitely. I'd always said, like most of my best mates are actually Celtic fans, believe it or not. But I'd always said the one thing I always regretted was the fact that Rangers hadn't scored in Manchester, just because it was in the fan zone, the place where they're lifted off. But I wanted to see Rangers score in the European final, like take a lead or equalise, and I got that with Joe Rebo, but that walk back to get the bus, I stayed in Benidorm for 5 days. I went through to Seville on the Wednesday, and it was the quietest walk back ever. So I would go as far as saying nothing even comes close to that.
It's an interesting one because before, like we've done these 10 question interviews over the last couple of years, like since we started the pod, really, and up until recently, the most common answer was always Manchester, but at the same time, it was always caveated with a sense of pride that we did reach Manchester, and I don't know how do you feel that with Seville? Because I mean, getting to Rangers, teams like Rangers in this day and age, aren't they meant to get to European finals, let alone take the lead? Do you have any positive emotions looking back in Seville?
Well, on a personal note, because obviously I stayed in Benidorm. I went for 5 days. I didn't just go for Seville. So, but one of the best parts of it was we were getting the bus for the Ibrox bar in Benidorm. So, and we were told, because we had to go, we went the night before to find out, we went over there the night before for a couple of beers before we left on the Wednesday morning. And the place when we had it to find out what time we're leaving, she said, "Have they be here for 6 o'clock?" Oh, Colin, honestly, there must have been about 3,000 people standing at singing songs at 6 o'clock in the morning. You even had people walking by at that time looking, thinking, what the hell is happening here? I don't think I had got some people not understanding it. So get people got up early. We've been obviously still really sunny at that time, even though it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know,
but that was one of the best parts of the day. Seeing all those people waiting in the buses. I think it was about 40 buses that left there or something.
And a good many of them wouldn't have been just getting up early. Some of them would have been out for the night before, just making their way to the bus at that time in the morning.
No, that was brilliant. But I mean, I arrived in Seville as well. I did think that they arranged it pretty well with the supporters when they didn't get mixed at all. Obviously, as we know about all the water and stuff like that, but I won't go into that. But the two places I went, it was just full of Rangers fans. I think I saw about 3 Frankfurt fans in total. But I think they'd had their own fan zone as well. But it was brilliant. I met up with all our mates. My nephew met up with his mates. It was brilliant. In fact, I didn't get to go to a European final with my brother the last time, because he couldn't go to Manchester. Mm-hmm. The fact that we were able to go to Seville, and the fact that my nephew was able to come as well. But it was a good trip, but it was a good trip up until Aaron Ramsey's penalty, and then it became and then it was downhill for there.
And that's what makes it sorer than Manchester. Just we matched Frankfurt. You know, Manchester, we would have had to have been at our top level and hope that St. Petersburg had a bit of an off night because they were just a cut above us. But you know, we did match them, and it's going to be a great what if. It was just a fine margin, so no, fair enough. I can see why. I can't really argue too much with calling that your biggest Rangers regret, mate.
Absolutely.
So lifting the mood back up a wee bit, because I don't want to dwell on that too much. What's your favourite Rangers song?
4 Lads Had a Dream, definitely. That's the best one. I love seeing the part I most love of that song is seeing you see players singing it as well sometimes. The one with Nacho Novo, it's on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen it. He's in a Rangers bar, and he starts singing. It might even be the Loudon actually, but he starts singing it with some guy. It's amazing. I'll maybe send you a link if you've not seen it before. But
send that over.
I'll send you over. It's brilliant.
It's a fairly new song. Song really came out around about the last 10 years, but it's a belter and it's a cracker, and it's one of the first songs that you'll hear for the Union Bears as well. I think it's a favourite for many, and I don't know. I like. What I like about it is it's a terrific chant to come for the terraces and spine tingling as well. But see the recorded version as well, the club put out, that's terrific as well, man.
And it's one we kind of get fined for as well, which is good, you know.
It's always a bonus, and it's podcast friendly as well.
Aye, that's true. I had chose that anyway, regardless of being a podcast friendly. That was my decision, regardless.
No, it's brilliant, and it's talk about the players buying into that as well. And I think when Michael Beale done these 10 questions as well, he picked 4 lads had a dream, and he was right when he said it's a good chant, and it kind of alludes to the history of the club as well. It just brings everything together. So I can see why players would buy into this as well.
Oh no, exactly, and like that's the big part of the reason players can buy into it and sing it as well, is based on the fact that it's a clean song, if you like.
Aye, I know. No, that's a cracker there, mate. A cracker. So we're going into the penultimate question here. We spoke about your biggest Rangers regret. Well, this is the other side of that coin. If you could relive one Rangers moment or day in your lifetime, what would it be?
This is without a doubt the easiest question. I think you know what I'm going to say here, don't you? Helicopter Sunday.
Helicopter Sunday. That's that's been an answer a couple of times here. That's
nothing will ever come close to that day ever, unless we do it again.
I know. That just shows you I think, see Helicopter Sunday and the league we won 2 years before. That to me has always stuck with me, with the fine margins of football and just how goals do matter, goal difference does matter, and how, regardless of how it may seem, you need to get over the line, because anything can happen. Talk me through Helicopter Sunday, man. Where were you? Where did you watch it?
I was in my local. At the time, it was called the Bridgewater. It's been bought over a couple of times since, but the owner actually done the smart thing. See, because both games were live, and Erskine's predominantly and mostly Rangers fans, I think, anyway. And he didn't put both games on. He only put the Rangers one on, and he's actually a Celtic fan. But he put the Rangers game on in the pub, so the entire place was full of Rangers fans. Like, you could hardly move. I had to stand the whole time I was there, but then again, normally I would do that if I'm watching a Rangers game in the pub anyway. But and we're all just sitting there, and then see when the camera minimises to show you the goal, to show you Motherwell equalising. Colin, this place went absolute. It was absolute bedlam in this place. Do you know what? It's getting to the stage I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to relive it that much. The place just went. I mean, you had people doing Klinsmans and all that, and the pub on the floor and all that. I was like, oh, what a day, man! I would do anything to relive that.
What's so memorable about Helicopter Sunday at Easter Road is it was how that day was turned out to be a complete 180 turn on its head, the roller coaster emotions, because not even the most optimistic Rangers fans thought we had a chance of winning the league. It's even the travelling support went there just to see Rangers finish the season behind Celtic. Celtic on a really good run of form at that point. Nobody believed it could happen, and then even when Rangers went 1-0 up, it was pretty much right. Okay, it's it should to finish in a win, and then just that last 5 minutes, as you say, the first goal go in, and for me, I didn't even celebrate initially. It was a shock. I just couldn't comprehend that was going to happen that day. It was an absolute shock.
And the thing is, I can still remember the commentary. I think because it's not our game just kept because Hibs were going to qualify for Europe.
Aye.
It was. I think because Hibs were going to qualify for Europe, it was basically they didn't want to concede a goal. Is that right? And because if they conceded the second one, so it was totally relaxed. Our game, it didn't look as if they were going to score, so it didn't look as if Hibs were going to score. And so that was, it was unbelievable.
I always remember Alex McLeish talking at a speakers' night a couple of years after, and he spoke about that Hibs, like the results suited Hibs at that point as well. So it was just a training game it turned into, and he said that the most nervous, he wasn't nervous about Celtic getting the equaliser or whatever. He just said he started rattling when Marvin Andrews was passing the ball out through the back. He's like, "Oh Christ, don't do it and stupid."
Oh, I know, but it was incredible. Oh, no, it was incredible, mate.
Oh, what a day, man. I quite happily go back to that day and do it all over again. Every day in a month for Sundays. Good choice, my man. So, into the last question, Jamesy. If you could go for a drink with one Rangers manager and one Rangers player, past or present, dead or alive, who would you take to your local and why?
I've got it as two players. I'm allowed to. I've got to stick it as one.
Go for it. I'll allow it.
Novo and Souness, without a doubt. They would 100% get involved. And do you know what? Because if people came up to them, or if you took anything like then they would just get involved in all the songs, wouldn't they?
Aye, they would. But I'm just trying to think, I could. Nacho Novo and Souness is I'm more laughing at the 40 they two together, man. I don't know if they ever have met, but I think I'd love to be in a fly in the wall for they two talking to each other.
Oh no, I know. they'd be the prime people in there, but obviously for the fact that they're obviously famous anyway. But no, that would be.
I suppose is Souness your manager as well. Aye.
Souness your manager.
Aye.
No, I'd have that as well. What is the best manager?
Is that the manager you're taking for a pint?
I would take that as the manager I'm taking for a pint. Because you could talk about Will Smith for hours, couldn't you?
Aye, and I think I think you've got probably a good mix here. Nacho Novo's probably the closest to being a fan as you can get, and would be right in about it. But even with Souness and Walter Smith, taking them, like the stories they could tell, man, and you could listen to them for hours upon hours, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, mate.
Amazing. Where would you take them out of interest? Because I don't see Walter Smith would have been as rowdy as maybe Nacho Novo. Is it maybe a wine bar, or are you just taking them to the Loudon?
Oh no, I'm definitely taking them to the Loudon. You never know. You never know you're going to bump into in your local. So I'm definitely taking my Rangers pub, mate.
No, good choice, mate. Good choice. I've allowed two players, but no, I can. I'm happy with that combination. So Nacho Novo, Graham Souness, and Walter Smith.
That's what you call a proper combination.
Aye, what a night you've got yourself set up for there, mate. That's your 10 questions done, Jamesy. How was that?
Good, mate. No, mate, it was excellent. I appreciate you inviting me on.
No, it was good to hear your stories following Rangers from Erskine and further afield as well. No, it was good, mate.
No, I appreciate you having us on, Colin.
Aye, no, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's listened. As always, it's an open invitation. Please get in touch with the podcast. To come on, and if you want to come on and talk about your time following Rangers, answer these 10 questions. You know, James has come on, gave 10 solid answers. He's in good company with Sir David Edgar, Ian Durant, Michael Bale, and all the podders as well. So come on, tell us your 10 questions, because James, what I love about these is, I said at the start, it could be 10 fans all for the same age group, same experience following Rangers, but it'll be 10 different answers, just because so much has happened over the last 30, 40 years watching Rangers, even the last 10 years, and everybody interprets different, and these Rangers moments mean different things to different people, don't they?
Oh, no, absolutely, mate. It's brilliant. I'm more than happy, and you know what, I'd be more than happy to join on any other time you've got the podcast on. I'd be happy
No.
join if you're ever needing anybody. I listen to it every night, mate. So, and hopefully I'll get my camera fixed by then.
I'll be taking you up in that, my man. But until next time, thanks for listening, everybody. We are the people.